Hello! Today we'll be talking about Gastly, the first ghost poison type Pokemon, and the first Pokemon to have the ghost typing. It's also tied as the lightest Pokemon with Haunter, Flabebe, Cosmog, Kartana, and Gimmighoul, with it being tied with Haunter as the lightest Pokemon in Gen 1. Its previous PYC dates are May 28th, 1996, March 19th, 1999, January 7th, 2002, October 28th, 2004, August 19th, 2007, June 9th, 2010, March 30th, 2013, January 19th, 2016, November 9th, 2018, and August 30th, 2021. I most remember Gastly from an early anime episode where it, Haunter, and Gengar lived in a tower and they scared people who visited. As for its design, I love its simple, yet ghastly, appearance. Let's get into the Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Bulbapedia section of the video. Today we are talking about Gastly, the Ghast Pokemon, who is number 0092. This is what it looks like. Type is Ghost Poison, so you can see the ghost inside here, sort of darker purple, and the poison outside, a different kind of shade of purple. Ability, Levitate. Gender ratio, 50-50. Catch rate, 190 or 35.2%. Breeding is egg group amorphous. Hatch time, 20 cycles. Height is 4'3" or 1.3 meters. Weight is 0.2 pounds or 0.1 kilograms. Base experience yield is 95 in the first 4 gens and 62 and 5+. Loving rate is medium-slow. EV yield is 1 and special attack. Shape is that. Footprint, it's nothing because it doesn't have feet. Pokedex color is purple and base friendship is 70. Gastly is a dual-type ghost poison Pokemon introduced in Gen 1. It evolves into Haunter starting at level 25, which evolves into Gengar when traded or when exposed to a linking cord. Biology: Gastly has no true form due to 95% of its body being poisonous gas, with the other 5% believed to be made up of the souls of those who died from the gas. However, it consistently appears as a black spherical Pokemon surrounded by a purple haze. Gastly has a wide pink mouth with 2 visible fangs. Though its eyes seem to extend past its round body, visible eyelids surround them. It produces a faint, sweet smell. The toxic gas surrounding the main body can induce fainting and suffocation, and it is capable of enshrouding an enemy of any size. Gastly's gaseous form makes it one of the lightest Pokemon in existence. The Pokemon the Series episode, The Tower of Terror, suggests that Gastly has a playful personality, often frightening and playing pranks on people for fun. However, it has shown a willingness to preserve or pass on the memories of departed humans. It is also shown in the Ghost of Maiden's Peak, changing form and creating illusions, and it is capable of phasing through solid objects and forming tangible hands out of its gases. Gastly can be found within caves and old, dilapidated buildings, but may also be seen outdoors during nighttime. Its gaseous body will dwindle away when exposed to strong winds, so they huddle together in decent-sized groups under house eaves to avoid the wind. May also cause flickering lights in abandoned houses, as mentioned in Pokemon Sleep. Gastly is known to sleep while floating. A sleeping Gastly is said to give a sudden surprise should someone approach it. So you can see here Gastly's hands. In Gen 1, Nightshade was its signature move. Evolution: Gastly evolves into Haunter, which evolves into Gengar. So you can see that here. Gastly, Haunter, Gengar. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokemon Pinball. 3 Gastly appear in opponent stage accessible from the red table. Once the player knocks them out, they must then proceed to defeat the subsequent pair of Haunter and the Gengar that appears. Pokedex entries: in Gen 1, in red and blue, almost invisible. This gaseous Pokemon cloaks the target and puts it to sleep without notice. Yellow, said to appear in decrepit, deserted buildings. It has no real shape, as it appears to be made of a gas. Stadium, made of a thin, gas-like substance that induces fainting if you get enshrouded in it. Will not appear if it is very windy. In Gen 2 and Gold, with its gas-like body, it can sneak into any place it desires. However, it can be blown away by wind. Silver, its thin body is made of gas. It can envelop an opponent of any size and cause suffocation. Crystal, it wraps its opponents in its gas-like body, slowly weakening its prey by poisoning it through the skin. Stadium 2 is just golds again. In Gen 3, Ruby and Sapphire, Gastly is largely composed of gaseous matter. When exposed to a strong wind, the gaseous body quickly dwindles away. Groups of this Pokemon cluster under the eaves of houses to escape the ravages of wind. In Emerald, when exposed to a strong wind, a Gastly's gaseous body quickly dwindles away. They cluster under the eaves of houses to escape the ravages of wind. In Fire Red, a being that exists as a thin gas. It can topple an Indian elephant by enveloping the prey in 2 seconds. Leaf Green is Red and Blue's entry. In Gen 4 Diamond, this Pokemon's body is 95% made up of gases, which are blown away by strong gusts of wind. Pearl, a Pokemon born of poison gases. It defeats even the largest foes by enveloping them in gas. Platinum, born from gases, anyone would faint if engulfed by its gaseous body, which contains poison. Heart Gold is its gold counterpart. Soul Silver is very similar to Silver's, but slightly different, so I'll read it. Its thin body is made of gas. Despite lacking substance, it can envelop an opponent of any size and cause suffocation. The Gen 5 Pokedex entries are Platinum's entry. In Gen 6, X is very similar to Soul Silver's entry, but slightly different, so I'll read it. Its body is made of gas. Despite lacking substance, it can envelop an opponent of any size and cause suffocation. Wise is Platinum and the Gen 5 entries. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire's entries are the Ruby and Sapphire counterpart. In Gen 7 Sun, should a strange light be seen flickering in an abandoned building, Gastly is lurking there. Moon, although Gastly is barely visible, when it's near, a faint, sweet smell lingers. Ultra Sun, it's said that gas emanating from a graveyard was possessed by the grievances of the deceased and thus became a Pokemon. Ultra Moon, poisonous gas comprises 95% of its body. It's said that the remaining 5% is made up of the souls of those who died from the gas. The Let's Go games are essentially yellows, but they added a comma here. In Gen 8, Swords is the Platinum entry, and all the other ones that was the same. Shields is the gold entries. Brilliant Diamond is essentially a diamond, but for some reason they made percent a word instead of the percent sign. Shining Pearl is its pearl counterpart. Legends Arceus, gaseous and completely impalpable. Also highly dangerous. Inhaling part of its poisonous body will cause one to faint instantly. In Gen 9, Scarlet is Crystal's entry. Violet is X's entry. So here we've got Gastly in the Alola Pokedex. Gastly in the Paldea Pokedex. So it seems to be with a few others here. And you can actually see, it's actually kind of cool to see it as a amorphous blob and the shininess. And yeah. Okay, yep. Then we've got Gastly in the Kitakami Pokedex. It seems to be looking at a statue. I don't know if it's remembering or if its soul is tied to the statue. I don't really know. I don't really know the significance of the statue, so maybe that'll be important. I'll learn, I'm sure, when I play the games. Game locations. Got all that. Side game locations. Events. Held items. Pokemon caught in Gen 1 must be traded to a Gen 2 game in order for a held item to appear. In Red, Blue, and Yellow, you get a Bitterberry 100% of the time, Legends Arceus. For normal, you get a Chesto Berry 35% of the time, Spoiled Apricorn 15% of the time, and grid items by level. For Alpha, EXP Candy S, you get 100% of the time, Seed of Mastery 10% of the time, grid items by level. Still don't know how the math works. Stats, base stats, HP 30, Attack 35, Defense 30, Special Attack 100, Special Defense 35, Speed 80 for a total of 310. This Pokemon's special base stat in Gen 1 was 100. Pokéthon stats, you got that. Type effectiveness, damaged normally by Flying, Rock, Steel, Fire, Water, Electric, Ice, and Dragon. Weak to Ghost, Psychic, and Dark for double. Immune to Normal, Fighting, and Ground. Resistant to Poison, Bug, Grass, and Fairy. Poison and Bug are a fourth, and Grass and Fairy are half. Notes, if Foresight or Odor Sleuth is used by an opponent, the opponent has Scrappy, or this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of normal type moves is 1, so it would go from 0 to 1, and the effectiveness of fighting type moves is half, so it would go from 0 to half. In Generations 1 and 2, or if Gravity is in effect, this Pokemon is given an Iron Ball or is affected by Smackdown or Ingrain. The opponent has the ability Mold Breaker, Turbo Blaze, or Terravolt, or this Pokemon is affected by Gastro Acid, or this Pokemon's ability is replaced. The effectiveness of Ground-type moves is double, so we go from 0 to double. In Gen 1, the effectiveness of Bug-type moves is 1, so we went from 1 to a fourth. Learn set by level up. 1, you get Lick and Confuse Ray, 4 Hypnosis, 8 Mean Look, 12 Payback, 16 Spite, 20 Curse, 24 Hex, 28 Nightshade, 32 Sucker Punch, 36 Dark Pulse, 40 Shadow Ball, 44 Destiny Bond, and 48 Dream Eater. By TM, you get 6 Scary Face, 7 Protect, 13 Acid Spray, 17 Confuse Ray, 18 Thief, 25 Facade, 29 Hex, 34 Icy Wind, 42 Nightshade, 45 Venoshock, 47 Endure, 49 Sunny Day, 50 Rain Dance, 62 Foul Play, 67 Fire Punch, 68 Thunder Punch, 69 Ice Punch, 70 Sleep Talk, 79 Dazzling Gleam, 83 Poison Jab, 85 Rest, 87 Taunt, 92 Imprison, 94 Dark Pulse, 98 Skill Swap, 102 Gunk Shot, 103 Substitute, 107 Will-O-Wisp, 109 Trick, 111 Giga Drain, 114 Shadow Ball, 119 Energy Ball, 120 Psychic, 126 Thunderbolt, 140 Nasty Plot, 148 Sludge Bomb, 161 Trick Room, 166 Thunder, 171 Terra Blast, 174 Haze, 175 Toxic, 177 Spite, 198 Poltergeist, 202 Pain Split, 203 Psych Up, 214 Sludge Wave, 219 Skitter Smack, and 224 Curse. By breeding, this group gives you Astonish, this group gives you Clear Smog, this group gives you Disable, this group gives you Haze, this group gives you Perish, Song, Gengar gives you Reflect type, this group gives you Smog, and this group gives you Toxic. Side game data. Okay. Pokemon Ranger in the browser entry. Gastly fades in and out of view while it tries to spirit your Pokemon away. In Shadows of Almia, it attacks by spitting out eerie orbs. Guardian Signs. It shoots out orbs imbued with loathsome emotions that make Pokemon paused. Pokepark Wii, Pikachu's Adventure, Pokepad entry. Gastly live in the Haunted Zone. They're much kinder than they may appear. They like to have fun at Dusknoir's Speed Slam. All this. In Pokemon Go, Gastly can be obtained by completing 1/4 of the ticketed research, The Great Gastly. Evolution data. Gastly evolves into Haunter starting at level 25, which evolves into Gengar when traded in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Haunter can also evolve into Gengar when exposed to a linking cord. You get Gastly, level 25, Haunter, Trade, or Linking Cord, Legends Arceus only, Gengar. Sprites. I remember these quite well. So, it's, yeah, because they're these sort of amorphous blobs. They weren't, they weren't the sphere yet. So, yeah. That's pretty cool. You can see the face, and yeah. Then we got yellow, so you got the amorphous blob now. For some reason, it looks like it's fires coming out of it. This doesn't really work for this one, obviously. That one works fine. Generation 2, gold. So now we got the kind of gassy look to the outline there. Shiny is blue, or the blue outline anyway. Yep, not really much different. Yep. Generation 3, now the body is a purple, and sort of more of a gaseous purple, I guess, instead of a pink. Then there's a different shade of blue here. Actually, I think the body is even a different shade of purple. Yeah. Yeah, you got this. Yep. Oh, the mouth. It's black here, purple there, then the color, and then yeah, pink and blue, and it's red now. Diamond pearl. Really not. Turns sort of a darker purple, I guess, kind of a combination of maybe black and purple. Then it becomes just a standard purple. Yep. For the shiny there. And yeah, this doesn't really change much. We get the full back sprite. I guess technically again, since... Huh. Oh, well, no, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize these were cut off like this. It's just slowly get more and more of the body as it goes on. Yep. Okay, then we get the model, so it's a sort of a black body now with the purple. Just kind of existing. Yes, and it's a purple body now, a different shade of purple, with sort of a dark blue aura. Yep. Yep. That. Sword and Shield, a little bit different, the aura's a little bit different. Now in Legends Arceus here, you can see it's sort of a blob, more than, I don't know, whatever this is. Yep, and they're pretty much the same though. Yeah, that doesn't really change, yep, okay. Other sprites, Boo in Pokemon Super Contests, and Spooky in Pokemon Super Contests, so I think these are NPC Pokemon you probably battle in these Super Contests. Okay, in the anime, Gastly in Pokemon the series, Gastly Egg-Right in Pokemon the series, so here. I know I pointed to the... Okay, yep, we got all this, yep. Pokedex entries in episode 20 in Ash's Pokedex. Gastly, a ghost Pokemon. It is usually invisible. Its specialty is hypnosis. So it actually should say gas Pokemon. Episode 95 in the same Pokedex, Gastly, the gas Pokemon. Some researchers believe this Pokemon is a multi-dimensional being. In Diamond and Pearl, episode 28 in Dawn's Pokedex, Gastly, the gas Pokemon. Although it can sneak in anywhere with its gaseous body, it can also be blown away by wind. In X and Y, episode 72 in Ash's Pokedex, Gastly, the gas Pokemon. By enveloping larger opponents with gas, Gastly is able to defeat them. So we got Pokemon Twilight Wings here, okay, in the manga, Gastly in Pokemon Adventures, TCG. Other appearances in Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS/Wii U. Gastly appears in the 3DS version as an enemy in Smash Run mode. It's immune to melee attacks. Gastly also appears as a trophy in the 3DS version of the game. You can see this trophy here. Trophy information in North America. This ghost/poison type Pokemon is made up of several toxic gases. Touching it would be really unpleasant. Instead, try to take it out with projectiles. It's not the fastest enemy in Smash Run, but occasionally it may try to chase down a fighter, so be careful around this gaseous foe. In the PAL region, in Smash Run, these ghost and poison type Pokemon tend to move slowly and then, without warning, chase after you at high speed. You'll get hurt if they so much as come into contact with you, so be on your guard. As ghosts, they're immune to direct attacks. The only way to defeat them is to hit them with projectiles or items. Trivia: in the Pokemon Red and Blue Beta, Gastly's prototype name was Spirit. Despite all of them being poison-type Pokemon, Gastly and its evolutionary family cannot learn any poison-type moves by leveling up outside of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee and Pokemon Legends Arceus. Gastly is tied with Venipede for the lowest base HP stat of all poison-type Pokemon, Weedle for the lowest defense stat of all poison-type Pokemon, Haunter for the lightest poison-type Pokemon, Haunter and roaming form Gibagool for the lightest ghost-type Pokemon. Gastly is the only Pokemon that weighs exactly the same as its evolution. Origin: Gastly may be based on a Hetodama or an Onibi, Japanese spirits similar to a will-o'-the-wisp and poisonous gases. Some of Gastly's traits, such as its poison type and extremely lightweight, seem to be based on Fuyurei, floating spirits said to be able to spread diseases. Name origin: Gastly may be a combination of gas, ghost, and ghastly, frightful. Ghosts may be derived from ghost and gas. On other languages, related articles, references, external links. Let's move on. Now let's watch Gastly's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we're watching episode 20, The Ghost of Maiden's Peak. This is the very beginning of the episode, so we'll let it play. This. Yep.
I'm waiting for you. Come back to me. Return to your beloved.
I'm waiting for you!
Ah, there's the Gastly. And it can talk for some reason. I don't know why, but it can. Let's move on. Now let's talk about the TCG. I have one Gastly card. It's the third Gastly card design. It was illustrated by the late Kaiji Kinobuchi. It's interesting to see Gastly in CGI before it was ever done in the games. It's fascinating how similar it is to most iterations of CGI Gastly. The main difference is that this version has eyelids, which pretty much every CGI version omits. Even though all non-CGI sprites either do or it's so ambiguous, you could say they do. The gas effect is also interesting since the main games from Gen 6 to Sword and Shield, as well as Pokemon Stadium, Pokepark Wii, Pikachu's Adventure, and its trophy in Super Smash Bros. 4, seem to have a layer for the gas, not unlike how it appears on this card, while games like Pokemon Legends Arceus have it in a ball of gas. Gastly has 30 HP, it's 4'3" and 0.2 pounds. The second base set, 2 is next to the weight. Gastly has 2 moves, Sleeping Gas and Destiny Bond. Sleeping Gas is not a move in the video games. On this card, it costs 1 Psychic. If the player wins a coin flip, the opposing Pokemon is now asleep. In the video games, Destiny Bond is a Ghost-type move introduced in Gen 2. Since this card, and more importantly, the original version of this card, were released before the release of Gen 2, this is a move that was taken from the TCG and added into the video games. In those games, if the user faints, the opposing Pokemon does as well, although in Gen 2, if the user doesn't faint on the immediate next turn, the effect ends. On this card, it takes 1 psychic energy and another of any energy. It does essentially the same thing, but costs 1 psychic energy to do so. Gastly has no weakness, which is odd since ground, psychic, and ghost are all weaknesses of Gastly, meaning it could have been weak to fighting or psychic, although I suppose it wouldn't make much sense for it to be weak to fighting since it's resistant to fighting for minus 30 damage, reflecting Gastly's immunity to fighting in the video games. Its description reads, almost invisible. This gaseous Pokemon cloaks the target and puts it to sleep without notice. This is the Pokedex entry in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Leaf Green. It's level 8. In the video games, it would be 17 levels from evolving into Haunter. Speaking of Haunter, I have a card for it, so we'll talk about that tomorrow. Now let's see why people love Gastly. Now let's look at fan art. Hello and welcome to the fan art section of the video. Nobody sent fan art, so instead we're looking at DeviantArt fan art. For those of you not familiar with the series, what we do is we go through these images until we find an image that doesn't contain a Gastly. So this is Gastly by Spook8. So this is very creepy looking Gastly here. Yep. Yeah, very, very scary. Very accurate, I guess. And we've got Gastly by Han Rupi, so a very different one from the last one, a little bit stylized, very, very nice looking. And this is not a Gastly image, so we'll move on. Thanks to everyone who submitted fan art. I won't be streaming tonight as I need to wait until I talked about Snorlax before I can catch a Gastly. Tomorrow I'll be talking about Haunter. As always, this is my proper outfit, and you'll see me tomorrow.